let Congress debate spending again. That piece was written by Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana after Congress passed a $1.4 trillion spending bill without any debate. Yeesh. Let's bring in former Texas Congressman Ron Paul. Congressman, I got to imagine you can't be happy about all of this spending.
No, hardly, but I think it's the same old trick that they've been pulling for a long time. But it sort of fits into my philosophy and my belief is that everybody complains about not enough bipartisanship. I've always argued there's too much. Just think they suspended the rules, passed this bill, the Democrats got all they wanted, and the Republicans got all that what they wanted, and nobody seems to care. Nobody realizes that these debts put a lot of pressure on the Fed, so we have to yell at the Fed for not printing enough money, but they have to provide this. You know, if you didn't have a monetary system that we have, and if we didn't have the bipartisanship on spending, then they'd have to maybe deal with some other problems. But it's amazing that 90% of what we've dealt with in the last several months have been impeachment, and everybody knew the result of that before it started.
Exactly right. I mean, this is a spending package. It was 2,313 pages long.
Right.
But as you said, look, this has been a pattern of the way they go about business. How do you stop it? There doesn't seem to be a lot of motivation to do that.
No, it's not going to stop. It's going to end in a disaster because the pressure is too great. It's an addiction. They worry about the opioid crisis and addiction, but this is 10 times worse because it involves the whole world. And there's no way. I mean, the Fed tried to move in the direction of reducing its balance sheet, and they tried that a little bit, and then there was a cataclysmic crisis in September. Oh, we need QE again, and they start pumping and created quickly $400 billion. No, it's not going to end, because the appetite for big government is very strong, and the budget that you pointed out endorses this fact that the Democrats and the Republicans like spending, and they are not going to stop it because it's too painful. And we understand that politically it's not going to happen until a big crisis hit, and there will be an adjustment. But that's what I'm concerned about, because I think it can be very, very disastrous for us.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I read the op-ed by Senator Cassidy, and he says, for instance, just contained in the spending package, you know, he says Obamacare remains the law of the land, but the principal way to pay for it has been repealed. But no one's done anything about it, and it just continues to bleed money.
No, and it's going to continue because the basic flaw here is that people have a right to medical care. Well, people have a right to their life and their liberty and to take care of themselves and be responsible, but people don't have rights to get stuff from somebody else that the government transferred to them. But because as long as this is a right, it's going to exist, and it will bankrupt the country. We have not socialized medicine, but we have corporate medicine. I'm still very close to the medical field, and believe me, the insurance company and the drug companies and management companies and the physicians organization, they all want to keep this going to make sure they maximize their income. But that's doomed to end because people run out of services. They have to ration them, and it always means that there's going to be more. Republicans, when they were in, they added the prescription drug program. So it's going to continue because it's not efficient. And therefore they say we need more government. Well, it's not efficient because we have too much government, but they're not likely to learn that lesson very soon. They'll have to reassess it. The country will have to reassess it when we finally have the bankruptcy, and we have to decide once again, what should the role of government be? Should it be there to take care of us from cradle to grave, or should it be there to protect our freedoms?
And that is a good Congressman Paul, this is talking about big government. Another one for you, the federal smoking age just raised to 21. You're a libertarian. Is this the government's job to control?
Absolutely not. You know, one flaw in the system that we have endorsed by both factions is that the government can protect us from ourselves. And that's very dangerous, and that's part of this. You know, they tried that with alcohol and all these other things. Everything is to protect us against ourselves, and it can't be done without the destruction of liberty. Because if you really want to protect people from bad things, you have to protect. Well, look at how many bad things come out of radical religious and political viewpoint. You have to regulate that then to not expose that, because they're not capable of thinking it out. People need to have a little more understanding and confidence of how a free society works. The founders had a pretty good grasp of this, but that's a long time ago.
It certainly was. Congressman Ron Paul, thank you as always for joining us and for your input. Appreciate it.
Thank you.